Now, class 9, today the Cholas dynasty, the South India and the Cholas. Political history of the imperial Cholas. Today, political history of the imperial Cholas. Raja I. Raja made himself the overlord of almost of the whole of the present state of Tamil Nadu, parts of the state of Karnataka and its adjoining regions. Sri Lanka and other islands. The conquest this conquest placed him among the foremost warriors and empire builders of ancient India. Now, Raja I made himself the overlord of almost of the whole of present state of Tamil Nadu, parts of state of Karnataka and its adjoining regions, Sri Lanka and other islands. An estimate of Raja I. Raja's greatness lies not only in his conquest, he was also a capable administrator. So Raja was not only a great conqueror, but he was a great administrator, a great builder and a patron of arts and literature. A chief mark of his administrative system was an expansion of rural self-governing institution. He expanded the rural self-governing institution. He constructed the famous Brihatshara temple at Tanjavur. He endowed and built some Vishnu temples also. Not only the Brihatshara temple, he also contributed for the development of some Vishnu temples. He worshipped Shiva but was tolerant of other sects and religions, and as it is evident from the fact that he granted a village to the Buddhist Bihara at Nagapattam in the Malay Peninsula. Now, Rajendra I Gangyagonda 1014-1044 AD. Rajendra I was succeeded by his son Rajendra I. Raja I was succeeded by his son Rajendra I. About 1017 AD, he annexed the whole of Sri Lanka. He organized the Pandya and Kerala territories and the island of Sri Lanka into regular provinces of his empire. His armies marched through the northern region as far as the Ganga valley. He overpowered Odisha and a portion of eastern Bengal. To commemorate this event, he adopted the title of Gangyagonda and built a new capital called Gangyagonda Cholapuram. So short question may come, why he adopted the title of the Gangyokonta. Students, very much careful about the spelling. Look at the book. Now this capital now identified as Gangyokonta Puram. Gangikuntam. Then in 1025 AD, he dispatched a naval expedition for the conquest of King Shailendra's territories of Java and Sumatra. In the words of R.C. Majumdar, King Rajendra I had the proud satisfaction of seeing his banner floating from the bank of the Ganga to the island of Ceylon and across the Bay of Bengal over Java, Sumatra and Malay Peninsula. An estimate of Rajendra I, an estimate. Now Rajendra I's an estimate of Rajendra I. Rajendra I's other achievement included the construction of an artificial lake. He constructed an artificial lake near his new capital. Its embankments were more than 25 kilometers in length. It was filled with water from the Koleram and Velar rivers. He constructed a splendid temple at Gangyokunda Cholapuram. Its huge lingam, a symbol of the generative power of solid granite, is very impressive. Now, this is the estimate of Rajendra I. Rajendra's success. After that, students look at the book Rajendra's success. Rajendra was succeeded by his son Rajadhiraja I, who lost his life in the Battle of Kopam in 1052 AD. On his death, Rajendra II was declared the next king on the battlefield itself. He was declared as the next king in the battlefield itself. He was followed by his younger brother Vishajandra in 1063 AD. Traditional hostilities with the Chalukyas continued. He died in 1070 AD. He was succeeded by the Kolotunga, who ruled from 1070 AD to 1122 AD. Now, Kolotunga's success had very little strength and enjoy, with the result that Sri Lanka, Kerala, and Pandyas, they all proclaimed their independence. So, as a result of that, Kolotunga's success had very little strength. He was not at all successful because Sri Lanka, Kerala and the Pandyas, they declared themselves as independent. Hosolas brought about complete disintegration of the Chola Emperor. Now B82 page, all of my students look at the book, page number B82. Administration of the Cholas. The Chola administration combined the Nikanta Shastri said that vigorous central control with a very large measure of large autonomy. That is, control of the central government is very harsh, but autonomy of the local power. It provided a pattern for kingship followed by other ruler of South India. It followed a pattern of kingship followed by other rulers of South India. Now, central administration. This is the administrative power of the Cholas. The monarch, his ministries and other officials. The king was the pivot around which the whole system was based. The coronation ceremony was marked by many festivities. The huge resources of the kingdom, vast palace, establishment and splendor of the court, they all enhanced the power and glory of the monarch. The king had a group of ministers, each representing a particular department, to advise him on administrative affairs. The king had a group of ministers. The ministers always advised the king for the administrative affairs. The administrative system operated by a large number of officials, some of them holding a higher rank, some of the ministers officials holding a higher rank and other belongings to lower rank. Many of the officers became hereditary. Many of the officers, their power, their offices became hereditary. That is, they passed on as a right from father to son. Provinces and other territorial divisions. The kingdom was divided into a number of provinces called mandalams, each placed under the charge of a viceroy, usually a prince of the royal family or one belonging to the landed nobility. Besides, there were the territories of these rulers who paid tributes to the Chola kings in return for protection. The Chola kings protected these rulers, so they gave many, gifts and many returns in state of their protection. Again, let me repeat it. The kingdom, the provinces and other territorial divisions. My students, look at the book, all of you. The kingdom was divided into a number of provinces called mandalams. Short question may come. What was known as mandalams? Each placed under the charge of a viceroy, usually a prince of the royal family or one belonging to the landed nobility. Besides, there were the territories of those rulers who paid tributes, goods or money to the Chola kings in return for protection. The provinces were further subdivided into divisions. The other units of administrations were districts, the groups of villages and the villages. All the territorial divisions had their respective assemblies comprised of notable persons and those representing economic and vocational groupings. Such an assembly of a whole mandalam was consulted, for instance, in construction with the exemption of land revenue because of severe drought in the province. A most remarkable feature of the now, all of my students look at the book Village Administration. Regarding the village administration, the Gram Sabhas plays very important role. A most remarkable feature of the Chola administration was the exceptional efficiency of the village institutions. These assemblies enjoyed full powers in the management of local affairs. The method of election was as follows. Name slips of all the candidates were thrown, their name slips were thrown and mixed up in a pot from which they were drawn one by a small boy. The results were announced by the village priest. Results were announced by the village priest. Now students, today up till this, next day I will finish the chapter, okay? Today up till this you go through it, and that is the next week I will finish the chapter, and another day I will give you the question answer. Okay, wish you all the best and wish you a happy weekend. Okay, see you in the next week.